This is Valerie Van Boeven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years of experience in the senior care market share their advice. So let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Kevin Linhart. I'm a certified public accountant and a certified tax coach, and I'm the owner of KL Accounting Solutions. My firm specializes in assisting senior care businesses, and we take a very kind of different and unique approach from your traditional accounting firms. We take a more focused on actually building a relationship with the clients and taking an active interest in their business, where traditional accounting firms, you might only hear from them around tax time. We meet with our clients monthly, and sometimes even more often than that. We learn about their business and their personal goals, their families, their hobbies, and that really allows me to understand their needs. And we focus primarily on advisory level services such as cash flow projections and tracking, budgeting, forecasting, key performance indicators, industry benchmarking, and ratio analysis. And oh, go ahead.
No, I was just say, wow. And you know what? Those are all like, phew, for me, because
right.
I'm glad there are people like you in the world, because numbers are not my gig. So I have someone else that does that, much like you. And so that's awesome.
Thank you.
KPIs and performance analysis and projections. What? Who? So yeah, no, I think, you know what, everybody needs, if you're in business and you're a serious small business, you need somebody with a financial and numbers brain in their head to assist you.
Right.
Whether that be a business partner or someone you hire to be, your not so official CFO or whatever you want to call it. But having somebody like you who really gets it is so important. Right. So keep going. Tell us, keep going with what you guys do.
Sure.
Yeah. Indicators, and then I was with what?
Yeah, no, I think probably the most popular thing we offer is I like to call it advanced tax reduction strategies. So this is where we take a in-depth review of the prior year tax returns and identify different strategies that we can implement that oftentimes save in upwards of tens of thousands of dollars in tax liability. That's what I really enjoy doing. It's a puzzle, and I like putting the pieces together to make sure to save my clients as much money as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome, because as I barely know, the tax code is super complicated.
Right.
And there are so many things that a company can do to help themselves, and without a professional on board that does this, it's impossible to keep up with all of the changes in the tax code, right, all of the new things, old things, and also run your business and be an expert in your own business.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely.
Right. Especially with everything going on, it's changed so many times over the past year and a half.
Yeah, just figuring out, and this is a whole nother show by itself. If you took out a PPP loan, just figuring out how to appropriately put that in your P&L for last year, or where should that really go? I know what TurboTax tells you might not be exactly what you're supposed to do. So, how does that look? What does that do? How does that not kill you on taxes if you took that and you really didn't need to use it? Which is, good for you. If you didn't need to use it, a lot of people did. It's a crazy last 14 months or more that changed things 500 different times. So yeah, it's really important to talk to somebody. All right, so how did you find your niche of home healthcare businesses?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So a number of years ago, I worked in public accounting for an accounting firm, and the very first client that I was assigned was a home healthcare business. And I was assigned to prepare their tax return. I noticed that they they were overpaying in taxes, a couple changes, and we could save them about $50,000. And I took that information to my supervisor, and they weren't interested in that at all. They just wanted me to complete the return so I can move on to the next one. So that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I feel like, if there's small businesses out there that could use our help, that we should, as professional accountants, we should
Mhm.
do everything we can to help them. So when I started my firm, I kind of remembered back to that moment, and that's what made me decide, I'm gonna help specifically home health businesses, and I'm gonna take that more active approach in their business, making sure, to really help them, making sure they're, saving every dollar possible.
Very nice. Yeah, that's a great illustration of also of when you're not getting personalized service. If it's just a matter of getting your taxes done and that person getting on to the next tax return, that's not personalized service. That
Right.
is, H&R Block kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So you really, although it's always important to use somebody to help you with your taxes, it's also important to, I think, and I can see this from our point of view as a business, and how we handle our finances and who we have, that helps us understand better what we should do. If you don't have somebody that will talk to you on a regular basis and answer questions, especially all the questions that came up in the last year, um, it just was craziness. And we were lucky. We didn't have any problems really, but we still had to stay on top of a bunch of weird different things just to make sure we were doing the right thing. So I think it's not just that once a year transaction. So thank you for helping home care businesses, because they the rules and regulations and the hoops that they have to jump through
Right.
already are
Right.
insane. Not just, and they're for good reason. I mean, we're trying to protect human lives and we're trying to protect families, but from a financial standpoint, I mean, one bad move could ruin you as a home health care agency, especially if you're dealing with Medicare and Medicaid. So you have to be really careful with all the things that you're doing. It's not just taxes. It's
Right.
a lot.
Right.
All right, what's the best thing about working with home health care businesses?
Yeah, so I think the best thing, I find it to be a rewarding experience. Um, even though I'm not, kind of patient facing, I don't have anything to do with taking care of the patients. You know, owning a business is a lot of work, and if I can make that burden easier on the business owner by handling their accounting and tax work and kind of all those, behind the scenes financial things, then they're able to focus on hiring and training more caregivers. They can advertise their services in order to get more clients that need the help, and overall providing the better care to the clients. And I find that really rewarding. That's probably what I enjoy about it most.
Yeah, it's great to work with folks that are are providing a service that is it's actually they're in service to others all the time,
Right.
and so helping them be able to take that, or whether it's payroll or whatever it
Right.
is, it's all year. There's so many things to consider. So are there any industry specific tax things or tax tips or things that home health care industry specific folks should know?
Yes, I don't think there's anything kind of specific to home health. However, there are many tax strategies that they can take advantage of. For example, we talked about all the changes that have happened the past 14 or so months, and right now a big thing is the employee retention credits, which
Ooh,
was just recently extended to the end of 2021. Um, that's one thing I've been helping a lot of my clients with. It's a $7,000 credit on payroll taxes per employee per quarter, for eligible employers. And now, even startup businesses, which are businesses started after February 15th, 2020, they're eligible as well for a credit up to a maximum of 50,000 per quarter. And that can be applied to the third and fourth quarters of 2021. So even though it's not specific to home healthcare businesses, there is a lot of strategies out there that can be implemented to um, get some money back in the pockets of those business owners.
Can you explain what that just because that's interesting to everybody. What's the employee retention tax credit?
Right. So that came about during the CARES Act. It was to help businesses keep employees on the payroll.
Mhm.
Um, so what it is, if a business suffered a kind of a shutdown or a significant loss of revenue comparing 2020 to the same quarter in 2019, they would be eligible. I think for 2020 it was $5,000 per employee.
Right.
Um, I think it was a total of 50,000 for the year.
Mhm.
Um, and then
Very
now for 2021, it's 7,000 per employee, and that's per quarter. So
wow.
it can be significantly higher now in 2021. Um,
That's nice. So if you had a significant loss, but you still kept some number of people employed, gainfully employed for that period of time, then it's something you really need to look into.
right.
And I would tell you that I would say in the home healthcare industry, there are a lot of home care agencies who probably did take a significant loss. I'm sure. I mean, in fact, I know there are in 2020, but they still had to keep staff and they still had to keep their office running and they still had clients with regular caregivers that stayed employed that full time. So anybody who might find themselves in that position should at least check into it
Right.
and talk with somebody about it. And while we're on the subject of that, do you serve, what's your local service area or are you nationwide?
So I'm 100% virtual, so I serve nationwide.
Yay, that's awesome. We love to hear that. That's great. So anybody can come to you. It doesn't matter what
Right.
state they're in and you can help them. Okay, great. Oh, we'll keep going down the road here. What piece of advice would you give to home health care agencies out
Yeah, so my piece of advice would be you get what you pay for. We've talked about kind of those accounting firms that don't really, take an active interest in the business, the H&R Blocks, the TurboTaxes that offer the super low prices. Um, Although those prices are very enticing, don't underestimate the value that a good accountant can bring to your business. I believe that your accountant should be taking an active interest in your business. They should be meeting with you regularly, and they should be coming to you with ideas on how to increase profitability or tax saving ideas.
there? And let me ask you this question. If somebody has had an accountant who has been doing their taxes for years and they're pretty much transactional, they're not really someone like you who's going to take a strong look at things and say, well, you might try this, you might try that. Have you thought of this? Um, what would they need to do to say, I don't know if you can help us. I don't know, would you be willing to look at their last couple of years of tax returns or how does that work if someone's interested in talking to you from the healthcare industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I offer I call it kind of a discovery meeting. I'll get to
Mhm.
know about their business and see where I might be able to help. And I also offer a free tax return review. Right
Mhm.
now that tax season's over, I'm currently offering that for kind of prospective clients. And then
Mhm.
I'll for that I'll get their prior year returns. I don't need any personal information. They can redact all that. They would upload it to my secure client portal. Um, and then I would spend probably about an hour or two reviewing it, and then I would set up a meeting with them and kind of talk over the findings and potential savings. Um, so both of those options are kind of what I have going right now.
I think that would be perfect. I mean, really, you can't make a good recommendation to them or know if you can help them unless you can see maybe their P&L and their last year of tax returns or whatever they're willing to share with you to know if you can even help them and
Right.
what kind of business they are, if they, and how many employees they have. I mean, there's just certain information you need to have, and I think that's absolutely. If you're a home care agency, a home health care agency, and you are getting your taxes done, but it's fairly transactional, meaning, you don't really talk to them about anything specific over the course of the year. It's just tax time done. Here you go. And you want to know if, number one, are you doing things right? Number two, is there something that could be happening that's better for you? Is there a way that you could have saved money or can save money in the future? I think that is what a consultative role is, more so than a transactional role in accounting. And just like, for me, or for our core business, we do websites and content and SEO, and we do all these other complicated things. This is another one of those things where when you have a professional service come in, this is not your area of expertise. You got into this business to help people. So having somebody come in like Kevin, who can take a look at all the finances and kind of steer the boat in the right direction from that perspective, is really, it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
Yeah, I know I'm putting words in your mouth, but I see the value in hiring a professional consultant, because that's what we do. I mean, people are not going to sit around and wonder how to write schema code for their website. They're just not going to do it.
Right.
But that's what we do. So it's worth, and it can make huge changes in your visibility online, and you can make huge changes in their bottom line.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for being on the show and sharing your niche with us, because it's so important. And I don't think we talk to enough people out there who specialize in healthcare, home healthcare, senior care. People really don't know where to turn for that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. And we'll make sure your contact information is with this video so people can get a hold of you nationwide. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.